Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Freeman Focus Podcast. I'm your host, Mariano. Before we begin, a quick shout out to our studio sponsor, What the Snark, located in Wild Rose, Wisconsin. What the Snark specializes in custom apparel, branded merchandise, decals, specialty gifts, business gear. So go check them out. I am joined today by Dylan Testin, organizer behind the Wild Rose Old Fashioned Fest. We're going to talk about the story behind the festival, how it continues to grow, what people can expect this year, and why community events like this are so important for our small towns. Dylan, thanks for joining the show. You want to give the guests a little introduction?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, first of all, for covering local events and local issues the way that you do. It is a massively underappreciated job and it is massively undercovered. So I appreciate it as well.
Yeah,
Um,
thank you.
yeah, absolutely. For me, so anyone who doesn't know me, I am Dylan. I am born and raised in Wild Rose. My family has owned Sluggers for 29 years this May. Actually, shout
That's
out
awesome.
tomorrow, 29 years. So, been around the area for my whole life. Took over my parents' business a while ago now, and then we had this stupid idea to host this massive event. I'll go into a little bit more detail about how that came to be, but yeah, it's been getting quite the traction, a little bit more than we ever anticipated. So to turn a small community event into what this is becoming has been quite the experience.
Yeah, it sounds like some large crowd numbers that it's drawing in to the point where it's affecting parking. So that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, we
It's
have
pretty
we have
epic.
3,400 people the first year and
Huge.
3,500 people the second year. Um, pretty
Excellent growth.
yeah, pretty much every single street in the village has a vehicle or numerous vehicles parked on them. There's a bunch of area that has been kind of just designated for parking. Year one, there was a couple, like the Lions Club area was used. And we have a shuttle that takes people back and forth. Roberts Park was used, and then the former village president donated some of his land to be used for it. So yeah, we're kind of just shoving cars wherever we can fit them at this point.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, it's a great turnout for the whole community too, because I mean, it brings in a lot of out of towners, a lot of people that aren't from the area. So that kind of helps with a little bit of tourism or a little bit of extra revenue for some of the gas stations and stores and stuff like that. People buying bottled water, food or, whatever else.
Yeah, and not just, I mean, we can go on, we can hit a couple different industries on what it helps. So just quick stats. I mean, we talked 3,400 people and 4,500 people. Well, it was 12 states and 14 states that it brought people from. Which is when you
Quite the
think,
draw.
when you think about tourism, um, it's quite the event. The Washoe County Tourism Commission, I think they're technically called. I did a presentation for them. Their director has come in full support of the event. They are the ones that brought Discover Wisconsin to the area
Awesome.
to cover the event. Now they brought them to Washoe County as a whole, but specifically focused on Old Fashioned Fest a little bit. And we did our own little documentary coming out about that day just for that. So yeah, I mean, you talked about gas stations, you talked about campgrounds and hotels. It's not just Wild Rose that's affected. Watoma hotel is full. Wapaka's hotels were full. Campgrounds were booked like crazy. Gas stations, a restaurant that is, I think it's like 12 miles away, had their best day ever directly in effect of the event. So yeah,
Awesome.
it's done some good for the area. A lot more than, like I said, when this whole thing started, it was me looking at a headline and being like, oh hey, like these guys broke the world's largest old fashioned record. I'm like, what is that? So I'm sitting there thinking like this is gonna be like 10,000 gallons of old fashioned. I'm like, not gonna be attainable to anyone like us. So I clicked on the headline and all of a sudden I see it's 300 gallons. And I'm like, what? 300? I'm like, I could do that easily. And all of a sudden, I'm going around. Well, my wife was the first one. I woke her up. We're laying in bed, and I'm like, "Did you know that they broke the world's record for old fashioned, and it was only 300 gallons?" And she's like, "So what? Go to sleep." I'm like, "That's so what?" I'm like, "That's a." I was like, "We could easily do that."
Like a small milestone. Like
Yeah,
that's child's play.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So I'm
Probably
like,
happened in a whole different state, right? Not even in Wisconsin. In Wisconsin's the drink. Was it here?
Madison Mallards actually did it.
Okay.
They did actually. It was a pretty cool event, and the only reason I even looked into it is I used to live right there. So I lived in Madison for 5 years. So I used to live really close to the Mallards, and I saw the headline, so I clicked on it. Like they changed their name to the Old Fashions for the day. The jerseys were the Madison Old Fashions. They made the world's largest old fashions. They sold them. They had music, all that. So
It's
I'm
pretty
sitting there,
cool.
like I said, I saw the headline and I just couldn't believe them. I'm like, why don't we do this? I'm like, 300 gallons, that's easy. So then I got it in my head. All right, the whole week I just kept telling everyone, I'm like, do you realize that the world record for the world's largest old fashioned is 300 gallons? I'm like, I told probably, I don't know, a couple hundred people. And they're all like, so what? Who cares? I'm like, I kind of do. And
Right.
then I got in my head I was going to do it. And then had started thinking that, my mom is kind of one of my, I rebound a lot of ideas off of her, and I'm like, hey, like the world record for the the largest old fashioned is 300 gallons, and she's like, don't even start to think that you're gonna break that. So
She already knew where you were going with this.
I'm like, no, I'm gonna break it. So then it started on, well, what do we do with it? I'm like, well, I'm gonna have to sell it and to get some of the money back off of it.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
so I figured out about how much it would take to make 500 gallons of old fashioned, which is an incredible amount of ingredients and product and money. So I'm like, okay, so this is what we're gonna have to do. I'm like, okay, well, then I started, I'm like, well, what's gonna bring people in to drink this thing? I'm like, okay, so now we need live music.
Yep.
Then all of a
Yep.
sudden, the next thing I'm thinking is, I'm like, well, what do we do for food? I'm like, well, Wild Rose doesn't have a chicken barbecue. Every other community in this area has a chicken barbecue. We don't have a chicken barbecue. So I'm like, okay, let's start a chicken barbecue. I'm like, well, where am I gonna find people to help me do this thing? So all of a sudden it started out, well, okay, I know there's like 12 organizations throughout the community that might be able to help out and we could just raise the money for them. So I started going around and I kind of started telling people the idea and everyone, oh, you're an idiot. That's never going to work, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, you're not wrong. I am an idiot. I didn't realize how much work was going to go into it the first year. Um, then all of a sudden I posted I posted the poster on Facebook and it had 2.1 million impressions in 2 weeks. Um,
Wow.
so yeah, then I kind of like stopped myself a little bit and I go back to my mom. I'm like, hey, like this might blow up. I'm like, uh, I thought maybe if, 1,000 people, maybe hit that 1,500 mark. All of a sudden,
Such a small. You're thinking small. You're thinking like just enough to sell and stuff. Hopefully.
yeah, I mean, my goal was just to, hey, let's make the organizations in the community some money. Um, and all of a sudden, me and a couple other friends that we have a couple group chats. All of a sudden, we're sending back screenshots of the event on Facebook. All of a sudden, there's like 9,000 interested. Well, all of a sudden, like an hour later, it's 12,000 that are interested. Like 6 hours later, it's up to 20,000 that are interested, and all of a sudden, it's at 32,000 that are interested. I was like, all right, we might have an issue here. I'm like, if I bring 25,000 people to Wild Rose, I might have a real problem. Um,
People are gonna want to know what do you have going on here, man. What's the secret sauce in your old fashioned, man?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it was something different that no one ever seen. I mean, and it was kind of coming off that, it was 2023, was the year one. So it was kind of rebounding off of COVID a little bit.
Right.
People were just, I wouldn't say they were just getting back out of the house, but, they're about a year out of coming out of the house. And all of a sudden, I think it was just a perfect storm of, hey, we have people that want to leave from their house and get out and do stuff, people that are kind of sick of
Building a brand or a business takes time and focus. As an entrepreneur or business owner, there comes a point where trying to manage every detail on your own can slow things down. What the Snark helps take some of that off your plate. They provide custom branding, business apparel, drinkware, and precision decals for vehicles, equipment, storefronts, and even custom home goods. A one-stop shop for all your custom gift needs. Located on Main Street in Wild Rose, What the Snark offers custom solutions designed and supported a clear and professional presentation. Visit their shop or reach out to learn more.
the big city stuff. They see what's going on in a small town, and yeah, everyone kind of hooked onto it.
That is awesome how that just came together, man. A larger thing than it actually is. It's bigger than you, right? It's Wild Rose. 300 gallons. What? What does that have to do with the price of tea in China, right, Dylan?
Yeah, and that's what, and, I kept like, I just kept going around like, you guys don't realize how like kind of minor that is, in my opinion. Yeah,
So obtainable. Like it's
everyone, once I started telling them like, hey, I'm gonna break the world record for world's largest old fashioned, they're all like, okay, he's actually gonna do it, but I mean, what's gonna go along with it? And that, like I said, that's kind of where the event started to really gain some traction and getting all the organizations involved that we did. Um, I think that's really kind of what propelled it into the next level of events, I would say, because
made it really successful was
yeah,
getting the right people in place and getting them involved.
yeah, I mean, we raised over $50,000 for all the organizations that were involved between, when we're
That's a lot
talking,
of money.
yeah, when we're talking raffles, paying them for working, them selling food and selling drinks and just donating money after the event. Yeah, I mean, I kind of learned a little bit because I ended up just donating it all. And I was like, oh, well, if we get as much rain as we did next year, we're not going to be able to do this thing ever again. So I got a little bit more intelligent on that aspect of it. But yeah, I mean, all of a sudden, I mean, we hit numbers that I did never thought would have been attainable in the beginning of the planning of this thing.
Are you guys still holding the current record for largest old fashioned?
So we unofficially, because to make it official and to actually get somebody from Guinness to come in, it would have been like $26,000.
Wow. So you have to pay them to it's a pay to play kind of, or
Because you're paying someone to come from Ireland, observe the event, take the record, all that. Or I mean, there is an alternate way, but you have to have so many different requirements to hit that I'm like, hey, like, there's no way we do some of these things. So unofficially, yes, we submitted.
which is what matters. That's what matters because
Yeah,
everyone else knows.
yeah. I mean, if you Google it, I'm gonna do it while we're talking here.
That's fine. But basically what I'm getting at is like you don't have you don't have to show a plaque to show that you're the number one at doing something. You just have to show that you've done it and that everyone else knows that you've done it and that you're capable of doing it again. You could do it bigger if you really wanted to.
That you're capable of doing it again. Yes, you do. Well, we have actually. So year one, we made 550 gallons. Year two, we made
Oh, so
technically still
you did double it.
unofficially.
Yeah,
Yeah, we
that's
ended up doubling it.
ridiculous. 300 gallons up to 750. That's over double, man. That's insane. Oh man, so
Yeah,
really like after you accomplish it, like what made you like I need to do it double bigger. I need to do it even bigger than that. What made you push it even further? You didn't have to beat the record. You've already technically beat it already with the
probably my own
550.
idiocy. Yeah, probably my own
Okay.
idiocy. I mean, so year one, it poured rain. So we can go into detail with how the day works and all that. But so it starts at 10 a.m. While year one at like 9:15, we're just starting to kind of, vendors are getting their stuff finalized, set up. I'm getting all the product to start making the old fashioned. The bar is getting set up outside. All of a sudden, at about 9:15, it just starts to pour, and we're all kind of looking at each other like, "What are we doing?" I just, my whole thing is the show goes on, no matter what. It unless I drop dead or something, then it might take a pause. But even still, the show goes on. So it started to pour. So I was like, "Hey, like, we hit 3,400 people, don't get me wrong, but what could this have been if we had just a beautiful day out where people
Right,
want to be outside?" And
right.
we had a few hundred people for sure message and come in later on saying, hey, we would have loved to be there, but we weren't going to stand in pouring rain. um
Understandable.
yeah, no, 100%. And it did clear up at 3 o'clock that first year, but it still rained for 5 hours, and we still had
Right.
3,400 people come through on the grounds.
That's
So
still pretty significant for year one. That's to start it. So
yeah,
that's rough launch, just winging it,
yeah.
learning from the experience.
And that does include like all the volunteers, all the vendors, the workers. That includes everybody. But I have to include that because some of those people, they'll get done volunteering, they stick around for the rest of the night. Um, so yeah, so it's not like we had 3,400 paid attendees or anything like that. But we were probably at that 3,000, 3,100 mark is kind of where we were like, hey, like, we're 100% right in there. We had about 150, 200 volunteers and workers and vendors and all that. So yeah, so going into year two, we're like, hey, like, we see this hit 3,400 people with 5 hours of pouring rain. what could it have been? Well, we said it probably could be 5,000 people.
Right.
Um,
Easy projection.
yeah,
Easily projected.
yeah. And so, we start running the numbers, and I'm like, okay, well, to have 5,000 people here, we're going to need about 15,000 cocktails. So I kind of do the math, and okay, well, I need 700 gallons of old fashioned to make. So yeah, so that's how.
Some quick math. That's what it comes out to. That's how it came out.
Yeah, well,
That's
so
crazy.
me and I have two brilliant sisters that are both accountants, and we're all three of us are phenomenal with numbers. So it was one night, it's like 3:30, 4 in the morning. We're all staying up, and I'm like, hey, like, we need to track some of these numbers and figure out, like, how many cocktails is this, first of all. So yeah, we ended up figuring out, yeah, just we have a whole little spreadsheet of 500 makes this many, 600 makes this many, 700 makes this many. And then you got to factor like ice and all that. It's pretty
Yeah.
crazy. The whole little the math that goes into it.
Yeah, that's awesome. That is phenomenal. Yeah, and so it's a 1-day event, right? So people can expect it from, like you said, from the morning. It starts at 10 a.m. You said
Yeah, 10 a.m. Yep.
10 a.m. it starts, and it ends at what time in the evening?
11 p.m.
11 p.m. So it's pretty much an all-day event.
Yeah.
Right.
So what it is, at 10 a.m. the gates open. At 10 a.m. we also have the vendors are all ready to go. Volunteers are already on the ground. The bar is open. Everything's ready to go. The only thing that's not is the old fashioned itself, because we start making it at 10 a.m. so that people can watch it be made.
It's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah, it took about an hour to make. The montage of it, our videographer made. We're slowly well, we weren't slowly pouring it. He slow mode it, making it, and it's pretty cool to watch when you
Right.
see 1,200 bottles of Starry, 1,200 2-liter bottles of Starry going into a drink. So yeah, it's pretty cool to watch. So we start making the cocktail at 10, takes about an hour. At 11, we kind of kick off the music, the chicken barbecue, and the old fashioned. Yeah, it does. Sorry. So at 10, gates open, vendors. 11, chicken barbecue, music, and the drink. And then this year, at 11, we have a bags tournament coming in.
Okay.
Dairy State Baggers. They are like a semi-professional bagged cornhole circuit that go around the state. They're coming in to host a tournament. And then we just do the music. So at 11 to 3, we have the Charlie Justman Band. They've kicked it off every year for us. Charlie does an
Awesome.
amazing job. They're a variety band, but they're big band. So there's like 10 to 12 horns and all that play, from Bruno Mars to 60s music.
Right. Basically, whatever.
Yeah. Yep. Huge
Set
variety.
the tone. They know how to set the tone and keep it, more or less.
Yeah. And they know how to hold a crowd. They know how to kind of kick off the day. They're also really fun to work with, because, I mean, Charlie's from Wapaka. He knows the
Okay.
area. He knows what people want to listen to. He knows kind of how to judge it, where, hey, this is going to be a good event. And they were with us since year one. And then this year, the second band is off-brand, so it's probably going to kind of be more for guys like you and me. It's that
Okay.
2000s, like late 90s, 2000s rock, Red Hot
Okay.
Chili Peppers, Green Day.
Yep.
They end up hitting some like Good Charlotte and kind of that punk
Mix it
rock.
up. Yeah.
Yeah, a
Absolutely.
little bit different that you can't really see a whole lot of places. We saw them at Summerfest, and they're really good. And then the headliner this year they're the 308s, they're called. It's
Okay.
their first year with us, or their first performance with us. They're a country rock band out of the valley, but they're phenomenal as well. And
Awesome.
they start at 8:00, 8 to 11. Those guys go.
That's pretty epic. And as far as like families and stuff, like you said that they have vendors and stuff. So like there's all kinds of different crafts available, different merchandise available. Maybe like some kids painting or something for kids to kind of.
So yeah, it's pretty family oriented. There's a vendor fair that literally there's something for everyone there. I think there's 58 vendors this year.
Oh wow, that's a lot of people.
Yeah, yeah, it's a big one. Our goal eventually is to kind of open it up to get to like that 70-ish mark. But right now we're kind of tight on space. So yeah, there's 58 vendors, and that ranges from like baked goods to woodworking to,
Yep.
like you mentioned, I know there's a face painter. There's a guy that they do like custom woodworking on site.
Like wood burning and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
yeah, I think I might have seen them over at might have been like the car that they do over at Lake of the Woods, the Father's Day car show. I think
Yeah.
that guy was there for that one too.
So there's another one that does like actual like carving on the site.
That's
Nothing
pretty cool.
like chainsaw carving or anything like that, but because he only
That
gets
stuff's cool too.
he gets a little 10 by 10 area, so it's not a huge show or anything like that, but he does a pretty good job. And then yeah, there's like an old fashioned mitts company that comes in. They sample that out. I mean, there's something for literally everyone. Pampered chef, the smelly, the candles, the oil, whatever.
Yep,
Sicey,
pretty
there
much.
you go.
Sensi, yep, yep.
Yep. So yeah, there's something for literally everyone in the vendor fair. We don't do the petting zoo. It has been a massive consideration, but we are really tight on space right now.
I understand, and that's only towards the kids. So it's like if you had extra space, you could. There's a couple other vendors that would probably love to have a chance to get on the list.
Yeah. Yep. We have a waiting list to get into the vendor fair part of it. But no, I wanna so my plan is, and I don't know if I should be telling people this, but whatever. Well, hey,
You heard it here first.
got it. You got it. You're now a reporter too. So yeah, my goal is to end up taking it to a 2-day event and having a Sunday or a Friday night that's completely dedicated to like family, kids, kind of get away from that, I'm gonna call it drinking perception, because
Right.
it's really not just a day of drinking. It is a day of community. It's a day of meeting with some people that you haven't seen in forever. It really does bring the community together, and hit on that a little bit. But yeah, my goal is to take it to a 2-day event, and so whether it be the Friday night or Sunday, of it being just for the kids. We have some pretty crazy ideas as far as that goes. So like you mentioned, the mobile petting zoo, having a face painter, and then I want to do a big wheels demo derby.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so like
I remember those. I remember those big wheels.
yeah,
Well,
so
for
like
kids.
kind of like Mario Kart, like how you have the 3 balloons on the back.
Yep.
And then your kid would bring his big wheels, and they just kinda pop each other's balloons and kinda stuff like that. And I think people around here, I mean, I think that perfectly sums up central Wisconsin.
Yeah, absolutely, man. That and like you said those bag tournaments. I know that those are professional guys, but I mean, I think bag tournaments is another great community. It brings people together, could make it a family, like this family versus that family versus, compared to like professionals that are taking it as serious as possible. Like this family versus that family. This family is the undisputed champion for bags for this many years in a row or something like that. Yeah, absolutely. I think that turning it into a 2-day event, focusing with just a portion of it just towards family related things, absolute genius, man. And then it also brings in that more opportunity for more sponsors, right? Because you got like I seen like the Lee Beverage Company, you're working with a lot of different people here, different partners, in order to make the event possible. So there's like what 12 or so or more different partners you're working with to make this to pull it off.
Yeah, there's a ton, and I'm gonna pull up the list just so I don't
Yeah, I seen it. There was a lot. I was like, I knew Lee Beverage was a big one, and given that it's Old Fashioned Fest, I figured that would be one that I should call out for sure. But I also seen What the Snark, which is also my sponsor as well for the studio sponsor here for the podcast. But yeah,
Yeah,
you
they
had
have
a great list. It was Barklow Landscaping. You had a few other ones on there, I recall.
yeah, I'll shout a couple out from last year and this year. Corbell was actually, I mean, without Corbell, it doesn't happen, if we're being honest. And that one kinda just the stars line perfectly, where they were looking for something to connect with the people, and I was looking for a company that would come in and be like, "Hey, let's connect with the people." So they kinda helped. I mean, they were massive in getting this event off the ground and really rolling. What the Snark you mentioned has been massive over the past couple of years, just getting it to where it needed to be. I mean, whether it be the cups that they made all the cups. They donated all the cups. Melissa and her team is incredible. Melissa, Iris, Martine, those guys are incredible and just helping out. And then I mean, going back to year one, you mentioned Barklow Landscaping, Fable Repair and Collision. They're a body shop out of Wapaka, sponsored the last 2 years. Rock Bottom Farms, another one. It's just a small family farm. So solo guy that does it. Well, you're a little bit older. I'm a little bit older than him. He's helped out massively. I mean, at one point he brought his truck and he loaded up, I think, 72 cases of water in his one pickup truck to help out, just stuff like that. Wintrust Mortgage, True Harvest Bourbon helped out last year. I could go down the whole list, but Yeah,
Yeah, it seemed like it was like DOP's State
yeah,
Farm Agency, DOP's farm domain,
yeah. So
dairy farm
dairy
domain.
domain, for example, those guys, they donated the tank. Um,
That's awesome.
and that super good friend of mine, he helped donate the tank to make the old fashioned. So that's another one. I mean, without any of these companies and without the community collaboration, none of this happens. I mean, I know we talked about, hey, like it was my stupid idea. I got it. I did whatever it was to do to get this going. Um, but it really, I mean, without this community collaboration, another one, Yes to Brother Farms has helped out massively the last couple of years. Watoma Rental, without them, we don't have tents, we don't have a stage, we don't
Right.
have a bar. Like
Shout out
any,
Clay Swen.
what was that?
Shout out my boy Clay Swen.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I mean, without any of these companies, like stuff like this doesn't happen, and that's the really cool part about any of these events that go on around the area. Like, sure, you can have a guy like me who has a dumb idea, comes up with we're gonna make the world's largest old fashioned, but it really does it. In one of my favorite sayings of all time for anything ever is it takes a village. And that's what I mean. It takes a village to hold an event like this. I need the organizations to help out, to run the raffles, to work the gates, to bartend, to play security. I mean, we need literally everyone to kick off a day like this, and it takes so much from everyone, whether it be businesses sponsoring, people volunteering, all that. Like I said, it takes a village, and that's what I really try to emphasize because a lot of people come up and, oh, hey, you're the old fashioned fest guy, blah blah blah. I'm like, yeah, I am, but I could get replaced easily. I'm like, a lot of these people wearing the volunteer shirts, they can't get replaced.
Right. That's awesome.
Yeah, no, and it's gonna be huge. I mean, I'm like you said, that 5,000 mark is kind of from day one. That's kind of been my goal. Like, hey, how do we get 5,000 people into Wild Rose? That was kind of the first number that I was like, okay, that's probably attainable. And then all of a sudden we started kind of looking at it, and they said all of a sudden when there's 30,000 people interested in an event on Facebook, I think so. I can't 100% confirm this because there's probably stuff I didn't see, but out of everything, all the research I did that first year, we were the second most interested event on Facebook in the state of Wisconsin. The only bigger was
That's huge.
Eric Church coming to Green Bay. I'm like, all right, well, we're competing with him. Like, doing pretty all right. Then he had like 50 some thousand interested in his event. I'm like, all right, little Wild Rose has got 30,000. Like, we're doing okay. So
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's a lot of impressions. You said initially it was like 1 point something million impressions on Facebook. So then you have, you said initially was maybe like 10,000 or more people showing interest that they were potentially interested. And then it just grew from there. Like it's a lot of anticipation, man. And it doesn't just impact Wild Rose, like you were saying. It's helping out Wapaka businesses, their hotels, Watoma hotels. People are really just staying in different places. Campgrounds are getting booked out. It helps so much more than just Wild Rose. So I think that's the reason why these events need to grow. It deserves the spotlight. So I definitely wanted to shine that, on you guys here for this event. I know I'd like to have you on the show for other aspects too, your political campaigns and affiliations. I think that more people need to vote, more people need to get out there, but that's for another day, for another show. We'll
you're
touch
not
base on that.
you're not wrong on that aspect. More people need to get out there. And but to go back to Old Fashioned Fest, you mentioned about bringing the community together. One of the coolest stories I got to hear from after year one, someone that comes in by us quite a bit. I've known him my whole life. She comes up, she's like, hey, I just want to let you know probably the coolest thing that happened this weekend. She volunteered. So I thought it was gonna be like, oh, ran into someone, blah, blah, blah. She's like, I haven't seen one of my cousins in 30 years. She's like, he didn't even know I still lived in this area. Just got to talk to him for like 3-4 hours on Saturday. I was like, wow. I was like, all right, that was really cool. So then all of a sudden I get another guy, another local guy, business owner. He's like, hey, calls me Sonny. Hey, Sonny. He's like, I gotta tell you a little story. I'm like, it's one of those guys. I'm like, this story could be fucking
2
crazy.
hours.
Yeah.
It could be wild.
I'm like, all right, here we go. So, he's like, I talked to my one classmate, and he's late 70s, early 80s. So I talked to my one classmate from high school that I hadn't seen since high school. We sat there for 6 hours talking. I'm like, oh yeah, that made sense. So yeah, it did this crazy thing of bringing people together that I didn't even think was going to be possible. Especially, you mentioned before, the Wild Rose Fest. Like, I think that, that's the biggest thing. I mean, I know, like, the community, the volunteers, the people that the interview about how the world we live in right now, people are just sitting online, bringing discourse and bringing hate to each other, never even seeing each other, don't even know each other, and spreading this hatred online. Where a day like Old Fashioned Fest, for example, I kind of ban all politics, I ban everything. It sounds dumb to say considering I'm running for office, but it's a day of, hey, there's none of that talk, there's none of that going on. This is a day where it brings the community together. It kind of holds it together like glue, in my opinion, because you have people from all over the area, all over the region and Midwest, and even a little bit farther out than that are coming together, meeting maybe for the first time in the last few years. They haven't seen each other, but it's bringing these people together that otherwise they would never talk to each other or never see each other. So in my opinion, that's probably one of the coolest things about the whole day, is just that cohesionness it brings to the area.
Right. Sparks that little bit of rekindling, friendships and families and stuff like that have been separated. More people need to get together for positive reasons, right? It can't always be for a funeral or, something tragic. We need to get together and live and enjoy life in the moments that they're there, right? I'm planning on coming there this year. So I'm really excited about it. And,
Traveling base or basketball team there. So yeah,
I'm half Mexican, so I was actually shooting for a soccer team, as ideally was what my goal was, but I ended up capping it at 6. We're done. I tapped out. We're retired now.
Yeah, I mean, as far as the future goes, like what I would want to see out of this event, I would kind of like to just be the overview guy of, hey, like we're bringing all these organizations in to work together to hold this big event. Because, and I mentioned the Washera County Tourism Board. They're also on board of like, hey, this event could really even blow up more if we did it right. So bringing these organizations together and kind of expanding the area that it's affecting, where I know it's more than just Wild Rose already, but even if it was more than just Washera County, more than central Wisconsin, where it was bringing kind of the entire state, and I'm not going to go say as far as like a Country USA or Summerfest type size, but somewhere
You never know. You never know.
in that middle where like, hey, like we have 10,000 people that are coming to town. How do we do right by every single gas station, restaurant, organization, whether it be the Lions Club, booster clubs, youth sports, you name it, kind of seeing all those groups and businesses and everything come together to kind of just, this is our thing. And like I said, it's more than just a, hey, we're going to get together and drink old fashioned. It's a, hey, we're going to get together. We're going to showcase our community and what it really stands for and what it does. That's kind of my end goal of the whole day / future, hopefully weekend.
Right. I'd like to see that, man. I think a whole weekend is definitely it's justified for this type of thing. One day is definitely not enough. If you said one guy hasn't seen a family member or a friend in I don't know how many, a classmate for how many years, imagine how many he'd see if there was a 2-day event. Some people might not make it to both days. Some people might only make it to the other days. So,
Well, I'm thinking
those
about
are
friends, you're from Watoma, you moved away for a little bit. Think about how many friends and family you haven't connected with over the past, what, 20 years. I don't mean to make you feel old, but
right.
so yeah. So I mean, think about all the family and friends that you fell out of contact with that you're like, hey, like this could be an event that I know these 5 people are going to be at. I'm going to be at it too. I might as well see if I can connect with them. There's a couple of my buddies that I get to see like twice a year, and this is one of them. Unfortunately, I only get to see him for about 5 seconds. It's a, hey, dude, how you doing? And
Right. You got you got so many hats you're trying to wear that day, I bet.
yeah, so that's kind of the cool part of it, and that's my goal for anyone that walks through those dates is like, hey, this was my favorite day of the year, because not just because, hey, I got to hear this band or I got this great chicken barbecue. It's, hey, I really felt like I was part of the community, even if they're not from the community.
Right. Just that brotherly, sisterly, warm welcome. Like, hey, everyone come here. This is a very peaceful organization, a very peaceful community. We're spreading love here, and we're doing it through music and hugs, man. Like, just come and enjoy it.
Yeah,
Have a good time.
and that's what I try to just tell people is like, hey, like everyone's here to kind of take a load off that day. And just making sure that everyone stays responsible. That's the one thing too, that's a big thing I wanted to hit, I guess. we make the world's largest old fashioned, but it's not like we're doing it recklessly too. We gave out 19 safe rides year one, and then I believe 32 in year two. So we're making sure that nobody's on the road being reckless. For year one, there was not an entire DUI throughout the whole Washera County.
That's impressive.
Yeah, and
Congratulations on that.
year two, there was one, but it had literally zero to do with the event. They were coming from 45 minutes away, not even coming to the event. They were going to Otoma. So yeah, they had nothing compared to a usual Saturday and what
Right.
you hear about throughout the county, throughout the area. So yeah, I mean, it's not like we're out there, putting people on the road drunk or anything like that. And I'm not saying a couple people don't slip through the cracks, but we are doing it as responsible as humanly possible as well. As you saw, I've got a 1-year-old daughter. I don't want to see anyone not go home and see their family. I don't want to see anyone not be able to make it home and something happens to them. We're doing it as responsible as we humanly can.
Absolutely. I think that's awesome, man. And, good job on trying to advocate that to everybody that's listening because, even though the event is about old fashioned and it's about, the whole name of it and the title is about drinking, it's so much more than that. And like you said, you just don't want anyone to not make it home to their family. It's not something that it's not even geared towards. It's about bringing people together,
Yeah.
not causing people to separate. So, oh man, that's awesome. As far as anything else you can think of, I know we only have a few weeks before the event's coming. This is going to go out on Monday. Anything else specific you can think of that you want to kind of dial into anybody else? I know that was one of the things you were talking about was to be responsible, make responsible choices, show up, enjoy your time, share that information. There you go. That's what you can tell. Follow the Facebook page. If there's a website, visit the website, check out all the cool merch, make sure you get any hats or shirts, pre-ordered if possible, or, inquiries. If you have any questions or concerns, feel free to reach out to Dylan or his staff in regards to, what the event could entail for the weekend. Anything else you want to touch base on that?
Yeah. I mean, my message to people that show up would be when you walk through those gates, kind of forget about all the worries of the world and the stress of that, what's going on in your life for just one day. Just come be part of in my opinion, an unbelievable community. And I don't just mean the Wild Rose community. I mean the Washera County, Central Wisconsin area community. I'm going to expand it to the District 57 community. I'm going to throw a little bit of politics in there for a second. So yeah, in my opinion, an absolutely unbelievable community. Just come be a part of it. Whether you're from one of the 14 states that attended in the first 2 years, or you're from just down the street, just come be a part of the community. I mean, it's like I said, it's an incredible feeling when a bunch of people come together and just have a great day together. If you do have an issue, during that you show up, you have an issue that day, just look for those bright blue shirts that say volunteer on them and the big old fashioned fest guy. Just find one of us, tell us, hey, this is what needs to be better. This is what you guys can do better. I mean, we're always trying to improve, but it is hard because we are just a small crew of people as well. The volunteers that come in, they work their asses off that day. I'm not really available too often. I'm usually running around. But if anyone wants some more information, check out the Facebook page. It is Wild Rose Old Fashioned Fest. And the website is wroldfashionedfest.com, which stands for Wild Rose. So yeah, that would be my message to anyone that's going to show up, whether it be you or just a random person from, we'll say, Washington, because that happened last year.
That's awesome. Awesome, Dylan. Well, I really want to thank you for taking the time out of your busy week to share this information with everybody. I'll get this edited and get this put out by Monday, so everyone stay tuned for this episode. This is another great one. I hope everyone enjoys it and gets a lot of information for this event, and hopefully you get to see me as well as I'm going to be there guaranteed, but hopefully we get to see a lot of people listening to this there as well. Feel free to come up to me if you see me there on behalf of the Freeman Focus. Obviously the event host here, Dylan Testin, don't be shy. Make sure you introduce yourself to him. You might be pretty busy, but you might at least catch a wave or a high five or something on his way. So
yeah, you'll probably catch an I love you, and I'll see you later.
Save it for later. Gotta go.
I mean,
right?
Everyone always wonders, like, why do you throw that up?
My grandparents used to do that all the time, man. I love you.
Yep.
I'd pull out of their driveway and they'd just be right there in the window the whole time.
Oh yeah,
waiting until I don't even see them anymore. Yeah, I love it, man. Absolute blessings. Well, Dylan, again, thank you so much for sharing this story. We'll definitely We'll have a post episode, maybe after the event, a week or two, or whenever you find some time, to collect your thoughts after all of that. I'm sure it's a wild ride, but maybe after the event sometime we'll do a post episode where we just kind of talk about how it went, what like you'd like to see done differently, or how much more people showed up, and we'll kind of go from there.
Yeah, hopefully I'm so tired that like it takes me a week to recover. That'd
I'd
be
imagine
because
it's a lot of planning that goes into that, man. It wears someone mentally.
well, hopefully it does that because then I can just relax for a week and not have to worry about it. But I know it's not going to be the case. So, yeah, I'm absolutely down for a post event interview. So that'd be beautiful.
Absolutely. Awesome. Well, again, everyone, thanks for tuning into the Freeman Focus. I hope you guys have a blessed rest of your week. Take care.